What is up, everyone? My name is Chris Knight, and you are watching The Real Review 3000. The upcoming video is a collaboration between me and Sean Stackhouse for our Morbius trailer reaction. So please enjoy, and we will see you tomorrow on our Tuesday video.
Hey, welcome to Sean Stackhouse Reacts, guys. This is a joint production between myself and Chris Knight of The Real Review 3000, and today we are going to be doing our first reaction to the teaser trailer that just dropped for Morbius. To give a little bit of a history on Morbius, okay? Morbius is the living vampire. Despite his initial status as one of Spider-Man's horror-based rogues, he went on to become a brooding and gritty, albeit heroic and tragically flawed anti-hero in his own series and other titles. His true identity was former award-winning biochemist named Michael Morbius, imbued with pseudo-vampiric superhuman abilities and physical traits stemming from a failed biochemical experiment, which was intended to cure his rare blood disorder as opposed to supernatural means. The rest of his appearances feature his struggles with his non-human vampiric personality or persona, his insatisfiable insatiable lust for blood, human blood, and his subsequent efforts to cure his horrific condition, along with his eventual stint as a brutal and nightmarish vigilante. Now, side note, it says Stephen Norrington portrays the character in an alternate ending to Blade from 1998. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I know. I think it's on the DVD that I have, but I'd have to go back and watch it. But no, I remember that. Again, we've talked about this a lot. In the 90s, they would do these properties, and I don't really think they knew what they had or understood exactly what to do with it. So they wanted it to be a live-action film for the masses, but they kind of stayed true enough to the comics that those people who knew about it would go, too.
Yeah.
It just wasn't talked about that much. And now with Marvel and DC and all these properties coming out of the woodwork and being used in movies now, it's the end thing to do, and to go back and explore these properties that have had treatments beforehand. Like Blade hopefully will get this one.
This is going to have a better chance of being truer to the source material than probably Blade, because it's Sony, and Sony's not worried about being family friendly per se and these type of things, because this is a very horror element type of comic. So,
but I understand something that, again, Sony's doing these properties and they're trying to get this out. And it's kind of like a last-ditch effort to do something with these properties they've had for years. Because, again, like I've said, everything I've read says one of two things. Disney's going to buy these properties, the Marvel properties, from whoever has them. Or when Sony does eventually sell, because I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, they're going to find somebody to buy them. As soon as that happens, a lot of what I read says that in the contract for when they purchase these, it goes back to the original property owner, which would be
the rights would revert back to Marvel, in any situation where they would be bought out by another company aside from Disney. So
they're trying to get these properties out there before possibly Disney has a chance to snatch it up, however they do it, and possibly ruin it, I guess. I mean,
now if Sony can do, because Morbius is a Spider-Man character or villain, partially a Spider-Man villain. So if Sony can say, when they do get the rights back to Spider-Man, and if they can successfully create their own Sony Spideyverse and it does really, really well, then I think Sony will be set for a while. It just depends on how long the lifespan of those movies can last. without being connected to other MCU characters. Because eventually, as much as I don't want Spider-Man to be part of the MCU right now, eventually you're going to need and want that interaction between Spider-Man and Deadpool and other characters, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, this is something where all the studios don't work together, and it'd be so much better. Because think about it. I mean, we've talked about it on other streams and other people's stuff that a DC versus Marvel would be an amazing type of movie.
Yeah, it would.
But you know that Warner Brothers isn't going to work with Disney. Disney's not going to work with Warner Brothers. And
I think if Marvel was still an independent studio, I think that would be an option because, you know, they had the crossover comics many times.
Yeah.
But I think it's just Warner Brothers and Disney, you know, not so much.
Indeed.
But let's get into this. Let's get into this reaction. And first, guys, if you're new to this channel and new to Chris's channel, do us a favor: hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and if you have any suggestions, slide them into my DMs at Sean Stackhouse and Chris's DMs at ChrisKnight5150 on Twitter. We'd be happy to get those reaction requests done for you.
Yep. We enjoy doing reactions and requests.
We do. All right, so this is the Morbius teaser trailer. Let's check this out.
All right.
Michael, I've known you since you were a child.
Jared Leto, I think, fits this part much better than he does Joker.
If there's an answer to your disease, you'll find
those
it.
eyes. What is it with everything being like, oh, it says in association with Marvel?
Well, yeah, they're always going to be in association with Marvel. They always have been because it's a Marvel character. Even like back in the 90s, Blade was in association with Marvel.
That's true.
But yeah.
What is it with all these experiments? You would think that they'd be smart enough not to experiment.
I have a rare blood disease.
And I'm running out of time. This could be my last chance.
You're up to something. What is it?
That's not exactly legal.
I don't want to see you get hurt more than you already have.
This would be a cure.
So clearly, he is jacked up really, really bad.
Like polio or something.
It's a rare blood disease. I don't think they've specified what it was, but yeah, you see him with the crutches and stuff, and so you'd have to be in a really bad way to, you know, go to this extent for a cure. But let's continue on here. You know what happened? He just entered the Batcave. So.
You're not supposed to be here. Warning, danger, Bruce Wayne. Danger.
How did you find this place? All right.
At what cost? Michael, what's happening?
I went from dying to feeling more alive than ever. Increased strength and speed. The ability to use echolocation.
Wow.
An overpowering urge to consume blood.
That, I mean, just the visuals in this so far are kind of unlike anything we've seen in a comic book movie yet.
They're doing the echolocation is pretty cool.
That was very, very cool.
It's not like something where he has to make it look like he's doing something. He's just standing there and it emits from him.
Yeah.
That's kinda...
It's like a pulsating sonar type thing, you know. I like that.
It's called echolocation. That's basically your pulsar sonar.
Well,
light.
yeah, I know it's kind of the same thing, but I mean, I'm just saying it pulsates from a location,
Yeah.
sort of like sonar does from a submarine. You know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but only you see this. Everything else
They're
is.
show you the visuals because
Well, you
that's-
would have to see the visual. Without the visual, it wouldn't come across nearly as cool.
no.
All right, let's
I like
continue
that.
on.
How far are we allowed to go?
To fix something that's broken. Until the remedy is worse than the disease.
Michael Morbius. Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
Michael Keaton reprising his role from Spider-Man. Nice. Nice. All right, so I'm going to make a prediction right now. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. This movie is going to be more Blade than the MCU's Blade.
If they do it, it depends on what they do and how they do it.
I just mean thematically, graphically, this is going to be more like a Blade movie should look than what the MCU's version of Blade. I think what I'm saying is this is going to be very gritty, like the Wesley Snipes Blade movies, at least Blade 1 and 2, and
It's possible.
I think this is going to be what and the theme because Blade and Morbius are the same type of characters in a lot of ways, that they're horror based and it's gritty, it's dark, but I think this is going to be more Blade than the actual MCU Blade, because this is I don't know, it's not yet rated yet, so I don't know if Sony is bold enough to come out with a rated R movie yet, like DC. But I think if you were going to come out with a rated R movie, I think Morbius would be a good one to start with.
They didn't do it with Venom, though.
No, well, they didn't, but they were kind of just, testing the waters with Venom. I mean, you saw them name drop. They're like, from the studios that brought you Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, but the thing is that they're taking credit for something they were never able to do on their own.
Yes.
And
But
I don't think
they know how to do it now.
well, yeah, you see, people say that. I don't know if they do or if they don't. I think that they know what they're doing. I just don't think that they know the exact formula. And again, based on how this does and based on what people say, until the MCU does something wrong, which technically they haven't done yet,
Captain Marvel.
until that happens, you're going to have to prove that you knew or you can do it without them.
Well, Sony did Venom all by themselves.
They did.
And also, they
did. Understand about Venom. There are just as many people who didn't like Venom as there are people who do.
Oh, I know. Venom was a fluke. I wasn't checking for that movie. I thought it was going to flop. I really did.
And the thing is I don't think it did, but I can't remember exactly.
It made like over $800 million. It was like a huge success.
A56-1 was that? How much of that was? Okay. I mean, I don't know. I still think a lot of it is they're using the tricks that Disney has done. This is still going to come across kind of Disney-esque because they're using some of their. No, listen to me. It's going to come across kind of Disney-esque, not the darkness and all that, just the feel of how they shoot it. Because
okay, well maybe
that's what made the Spider-Man movies be what they are. I mean, again, at this point, I think the best bet for Sony and for Disney is to collaborate doing these things.
I agree.
Because you can add Spider-Man into it more. You can, and then they can borrow certain characters.
But for that to happen, like we were talking on last night's stream, Disney is going to have to separate from Marvel.
They're going to have to back away.
They're going to have to let Marvel be Marvel. Yes, they own them, but they're going to have to let Marvel fully embrace its heritage.
You let Marvel stand on its own 2 feet like it was doing before you bought it.
Yep.
And say, okay, you are part of the Disney conglomerate, but we're not going to hold you to the same standards because you're a different type of property.
Yeah.
Just like, here's the thing. If they're trying to make everything about kids or kid friendly, like it looked like they were trying to do with Star Wars and stuff, look what happened to Star Wars. Star Wars was never kid friendly per se.
No.
It was okay for kids to watch, but it wasn't geared for them to watch.
Exactly.
And they need to understand the same thing about Marvel is that the more you try to make these completely for kids or completely safe, which I don't think they're doing, because there's a lot of things in there that are not kid terms or kid subjects. Just there's stuff that they broach on that isn't really kid, but they need to really just say to Kevin Feige right now, and especially if they want to keep him there. And again, I go back to let Kevin Feige be the umbrella in charge of Marvel and Star Wars or Lucasfilm.
Sure.
Let him have that and separate, back away from this. We are Disney. We are kids. We that's what we were going for. Back away from that.
Yeah.
Understand that you're trying to play this facade or put this facade up that you don't do adult movies where you did Buena Vista movies, you did Touchstone movies. There's a lot of things that they've had their hands in that was not kid. And anybody who gives a crap and knows anything about these people knows that that's the case. And so why are they so dead set on doing this? Just because it has Marvel's name on it, take your name off of it. You own it. You're going to get the money. Who gives a crap if it has Disney on it or not?
I agree. It doesn't have to be Disney presents the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No.
Because Marvel is Marvel.
And they're doing that with 20th Century Fox, which is why I don't understand why they're not willing to do it with Marvel.
I don't know.
Let it go, and then under that one umbrella, under Marvel itself, you throw everything that is a comic book property that belongs to Marvel, the X-Men, the New Mutants. What else do they have now? Deadpool.
Yeah.
Blade. You throw all of these
and Namor, I believe, and possibly the Hulk, if the rumors are correct.
Again, we'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
But you throw all of that under that house, and it's like your uncle who comes to visit for Thanksgiving. He spends the night under your roof, but he doesn't live there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let Marvel spend the time underneath your roof, but understand that they've got their own place. They got their own thing. They're good with that.
Yeah, I agree.
They're family.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this trailer?
7.5. It's a teaser trailer.
It is.
I like the look. I think
this is very, very suited for Jared Leto as opposed to the Joker, like you were saying earlier. And because he was done so dirty with the Joker, I hope this is a huge hit for him.
I think it can be. Again, so much of this is going to be what has Sony learned from Disney. Mm-hmm. Where are they willing? Okay, and here's where Disney doesn't have a bad idea. Where are you willing to reel it back where it doesn't have to be so dark? Because that darkness, Spawn is a good case in point. Spawn was so dark that it only brought in certain people that came to see it.
They brought in the comic book fans, basically.
Exactly, those comic book fans alone. But if you can find a way to incorporate what, like they did with Michael Keaton, bringing in the Spider-Man movies.
That was really cool to see Michael Keaton at the very end, yes.
I'm glad they're reusing him, and I'm glad they're keeping him in this universe. Again, making it even better if Disney and Sony can work something out together. Because again, I guess Disney's less likely to say, "Oh, we don't want that
That's really interesting. I think about it because Michael Keaton only appeared in the MCU Spider-Man film,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that this is a
and now he's like all of the actors for the Spider-Man films. They're actually contracted to Sony. They're not contracted to Marvel. So,
yes.
but I mean, it's interesting that they were able to use the Vulture character. So, would they be able to use Spider-Man if they wanted to?
We assume that's what he is.
It has to be because it's this. He has to be.
But that again brings up my point of this still brings up questions about what Disney and Sony are really doing together. I think this is also a lot to do with this, that Disney and Sony contract that they came up with that said that Spider-Man's going to have to be allowed to have a cameo in Venom 2, and that they're going to be able to possibly use Venom in their Spider-Man movie on the Disney side. That
it could be.
Again, the longer they let this type of a collaborative thing work, where you can get both properties to say, okay, we're going to give you these characters that we came up with or that we shot for the MCU. We're going to let you have them so we can use this character or this character. If they just play nice together, these movies are going to turn out really well.
I agree. It's just a matter of them actually working together.
It's when you say in Morbius or in Venom, oh, well, we're not going to let you use Spider-Man. Well, why not? That's what it is. I mean, it's just a secondary comic or secondary character to Spider-Man. It's like a family tree.
Well, I mean, and I don't know for sure, but I think Sony could pull Spider-Man at any given time.
Not with the contract. The new contract basically said that they have one more movie that Disney gets to do at least. They're allowed to use.
They have him for one more movie and one more cameo.
Yes, and then they have what's his name? Tom, the kid that plays Spider-Man
Tom
now.
Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland. They have Tom Holland that's able to be used in anything like this. And so right now they're taking MCU characters and they have the right to use them. I think that's basically what this is saying. And they probably have something on the line right now. Well, you know what? We'll just kind of split this for as long as this works. If we work together well and you play nice, we play nice, let's do it again. That's probably
that's great. You know, if they could work out a relationship to where Sony still retains the movie rights to Spider-Man, but yet the two studios play nice and like each other's characters can appear in like Sony movies and the MCU movies, and you have it all kind of interconnect when it needs to, but you know, doesn't connect when it doesn't need to. I think that'd be really, really cool.
But I'll tell you right now, after the last bit of rounds of the contract negotiations to get to the point we're at now, it's Sony that showed their cards and showed their hand and is the more desperate of the two. Because Disney had basically said, we're done. We're not, okay, they don't want to talk to us, whatever, fine. And then literally the moment after they said that deal was dead and that they weren't going to.
I thought it was Sony who walked away.
No, because Sony's head, the day after the news hit that the deal was dead, he came out and says, well, we're still hopeful to talk to them at a later date. We've got some time to do this, but we would like to have a deal with them. So Sony showed their hand and basically they called it. And when Disney heard, they're like, okay, fine. And Disney came in and they basically wanted more money for Spider-Man. Nothing. I mean, because anything else, if they lend their people, if they lend the, you know,
Disney wanted Sony to I think split it 50-50 or something.
They
close.
did.
Yeah.
And I said something like, I think they were going to get 25%. I think they got 12 or something like 12% of the first dollar.
Yeah.
Of Spider-Man movies. But any of this other stuff, it's a good sign to see Michael Keaton in this, because that does have to. I would absolutely think that they had to say to Marvel Studios, "Hey, we're going to use this character. It's your character, obviously, in your film, because that was MCU."
Well, yeah, but it's a Sony production.
Is,
that's why there are no Spider-Man MCU films on Disney Plus, because they don't have the rights.
I know, but I would still say that there was something there that they probably said, we're going to use this character, just so you know. Now, whether or not Disney said, okay, that's fine, you can use it, or said, no, you can't use it. I don't think
I'm sure they touched base and just said, hey, this is what we're doing.
But it's really cool to see that.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest Easter egg there, that I like the idea that possibly these two studios can work together. And I don't see a problem with it. And in fact, if Disney wants to not play, if they want to play safe and not do rated R movies, let Sony do the rated R movies.
Exactly. And 20th Century Fox.
Give your expertise through Disney Studios and Marvel Studios. Let Marvel Studios go over there, work with them, play the cards that they know how to play right. Give it kind of that MCU flair.
Mm-hmm.
But and then if it all works together and you're using the same characters, well, we as fans can easily just integrate the movies into the MCU if we want to, or completely keep them separate.
Sure.
But that's the plus side of having these collaborations, is that, okay, it's not directly MCU, but they're using our MCU characters. They're using the MCU Spider-Man. So we can just say, okay, this is over here in his world, but we can incorporate it, much like how Ant-Man was.
Right.
Ant-Man,
so if they ever needed to make a callback, to something that happened in the Sony Spider-Verse, they could.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay, cool. Then that pretty much concludes our reaction to the Morbius trailer. I thought it was really good. Chris gave it a 7.5. I'd probably give it maybe an 8, because I really, really liked the visuals. I really liked the fact that Michael Keaton just popped up in the end.
I liked it too.
That was really cool. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you're not subscribed to my channel or Chris's channel, The Real Review 3000, please subscribe to both channels. Smash that like button on both channels and leave comments down below. Let us know what you think. And until next time, guys, take care. Hey, guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Menace. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at sean@seanstackhousereacts.com and Chris Knight at therealreview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.